Yes, arafo mu nyina kwaba over platform yi so host na najei and I want me apo nimpono arafo sisiam ne mo ka se bad news nso no ahete NDC ya arafo enye asimkuma e wode side bad news ka cheche na arafo yen hye nsem na se and good news e be a good news and e bi nso no e bad news yen say wode sanse no emfa mamo
Settled a $709 million Eurobond obligation, marking another major milestone in the country's ongoing economic recovery and debt management efforts. The ministry confirmed that the payment was made on Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, using funds from government cash buffers, underscoring renewed strength in Ghana's liquidity and fiscal management position. With the latest payment total in disbursements now stand at $1.4 billion under the country's restructuring memorandum. This includes two earlier payments of $349 million each, in addition to the $709 million settled this week. The government said it will build on the achievement of intensifying reforms in domestic revenue mobilization, public financial management, and public debt management, while continuing to strengthen fiscal buffers to sustainably finance national development priorities. In a message to the public, the Finance Ministry expressed gratitude to Ghanaians for their patience and support, noting that their cooperation has been critical to the gains recorded in the recovery process. What this means for economic growth. Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to economist and professor of finance, Professor Godfred Bokping. Prof, good afternoon. Let's talk about the $709 million the finance minister wrote about today. How significant is this for Ghana's economic recovery?
Well, thank you so much for your question. Good afternoon, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year in advance to every Ghanaian. Yeah, so look, it's very significant, and I think the government has demonstrated good faith with the investors since coming into office. Of course, also building on the roadmap. Remember, there's a roadmap under the debt restructuring, especially with Eurobond, which the previous administration successfully negotiated, that brought significant relief to us, essentially creating some fiscal space that gave government some breathing space, let me put it that way, for us to be able to navigate our way through the difficult stages of our economic life. So I think I commend the ministry for keeping to that, and to the extent that something that is due probably January next year, government has made good of its promise. But what is also important is to see the timing, because the exchange rate has been very favorable.
Right.
It's cheaper servicing our debt now than before, right? So that is also good. It's almost like taking advantage of the favorable macroeconomic conditions so your debt servicing in foreign exchange becomes cheaper because your local currency is stronger and your generation capacity is in cedis, your servicing obligation is in a foreign currency. When you do the conversion, you realize that it's much better for us. So I think the ministry has been strategic in making this payment. What is also good is that because we are hoping to re-enter the international capital market, even if it's not next year, to the extent that we want to also open the capital market in Ghana to investors. Even if we
Indeed.
want to,
which is what I want us to look at now, Prof, because when you reach that message from Dr. Forson, he also emphasizes issues of credibility for this country. And so to what extent does this impact our credit and fiscal reputation? What would it change?
It's very significant. Look, for investors, predictability is very important. So once you make your commitment to service your debt obligation and you're able to keep to that, it inures to your credibility. Remember, we lost access to the international capital market because of some of these things and the perceived default that was coming. So I think it's very good. And you see from the government's own 2025 budget and also 2026, a sinking fund that has been set aside to be able to assure investors that yes, we'll be able to keep to our word. And I think that is very important for the government and for Ghana as a whole.
I see. But it also opens up, I mean, again, maybe I should ask the question, does it also open up more credit for us on the international market?
Yes, we need to rebuild. Usually when you default, like the preemptive debt restructuring that we did, usually will take you a little while to regain credibility, especially within the international space. So all these steps are very strategic, proactive in assuring investors that, yes, we are restoring our credibility. So it may come at a certain cost to us and all of that, but we need to remember that we are not an isolated country. We cannot say we will not interact with foreign investors. In fact, we may even open up our capital markets, the domestic bond market, and open it up to offshore investors. All these things will all play a role. So I think that is what the ministry is looking at it from, and I think that it's a good move.
But we're going to have to be even more strategic. Do you get the impression that the ministry has a strategy when it comes to that?
Yes.
I see. I want to talk about the cash buffers. Because the minister in identifying some of the sources of income that led to the payment of the over $700 million to defray some of the Eurobond debt, he talks about cash buffers. First, what does it say about the local economy itself, but how sustainable is this?
Well, you have taken people's money. The understanding is that you needed to invest it prudently and set up a sinking fund so that when those debts fall due, you are in a position to service them. And I think that is good. It comes at a cost. There are trade-offs. For instance, the cash buffers, the money could have been used in constructing roads and all of that. You need to weigh. Remember that your credibility also matters. So all these things will come at a cost. Sinking fund comes at a cost. So you need to weigh. But I think given where we are and given that we restructured our debt not long ago, I think this approach will seem more prudent now. But what is important now is that government has also created fiscal space. If you look at our debt to GDP ratio today, which is around 45-46%, and then you also look at the fact that across all the debt sustainability indicators, which are more forward-looking, we are trending below the policy dependency threshold. That is quite good. A little bit more debt. Let's call that one responsible debt, so that they can invest it appropriately in enhancing the cash flow generating capacity of the economy.
Indeed, and Prof, in addition to that, would you also say, I mean, go as far as say that it is also testament to economic growth if government can afford to use cash buffers to defray debt rather than, go into some of the things that you talked about. The budget for 2026 is real huge, but I mean, does that portend economic growth for you?
Yeah, I think it for me, I side with government approach now.
Yes, arafo. I not just any ekoni. Bani asamba betom sesi yi. Eye kire se ano odin. Na yemfa nsem no e wode sansoro emfa emamo. Sesi amene mo kase member of parliament for Ayawaso East Nasa Tori Mahama Nasa Tori Ture we ni ye Ture wo hu. Member of parliament for Ayawaso East Nasa Ture Mahama reportedly dead. So what I say na che say ono nsoro abunu ketem no wato na nanom e won siero. Adafo e na de dwuma de be sim no bi ara si be sia bi makra bye bye.